What's good, everybody? Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're having an amazing day. Today I wanted to get into a little vulnerability talk. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I still struggle with mentally, even though I've lost over 100 pounds, even though that I'm as slim as that I am, even though I'm a trainer, even though I understand nutrition and weight loss. I still have battles and struggles that I face on a day-to-day basis, just like any normal person. Just because you lose the weight that you've had your entire life doesn't mean that it solves all your problems or that the mentalities go away. Like, that's not true at all. So something that I really struggle with still to this day is there are times where I'll have meals and I will confuse mentally, and sometimes just because of the physical feeling, I'll confuse being full with it feels like I've gained weight or that I'm gaining weight. And even though that I know without a shadow of a doubt that you cannot gain weight off of one single meal. Like, I'll let you guys know, you cannot gain weight off of one single meal. But the thing about it is that even though you shed the weight and losing the physical aspect of it is really not too crazy, or it's not as tough as it seems once you understand what you're doing, but breaking the mental chains and blocks that you have on your mind, that's the real tough part. Because yeah, I'm 75 pounds right now. I used to be 300 pounds. But there are still times I look at myself and I still see that 300-pound guy. There's still times that I walk around after having a meal and I still feel like I'm overeating, or I feel obese, or I feel like, that my waistline is starting to get bigger again. And that shit scares me, bro. Like, one of my biggest fears as well is regaining the weight. Now, I know I would never put myself in that position again because I know what it feels like to be huge your entire life and then finally get to a place where you're not huge anymore and you're actually comfortable in your skin and you can take your shirt off for the first time and everything. Like, I'm about to be 30 years old in March, and last year was the first time in my life at 29 years old that I felt comfortable enough to take my shirt off in public and let people see me without a shirt. Before that, you couldn't even pay me to take my shirt off. I remember a time, right? Sorry, I don't want to let my food get cold. Let's be honest. I remember there was a time, right, in high school. It was my freshman year in high school, and we were having baseball practice, and at the end of the baseball practice, my coach, instead of conditioning us, he did a basketball game instead, a full court basketball game. He did shirts versus skins. Do you know, I was so insecure about my body, about me taking my shirt off in public or people seeing me without a shirt, that even though the team who was skins that I was supposed to be on was the better team, and that's the team that I got picked for, I opted not to play for that team in that little practice and asked to play for the shirts team because I wasn't comfortable taking off my shirt. I didn't want people to see the saggy big man boobs, the hanging stomach, the running around and you just see just flab and fat running, like flowing everywhere. I felt that. I got scared. I was like, no, can I play for the shirts team? Like, I remember those times. Another time that I really remember that really made me self-conscious about my health and my weight was I was around what, 11, 12 years old. And I had a friend come by the house. Shout out my boy William. His name was William Raylo, one of the best hitters I had ever seen at that time. And this is nothing against him. I have no problems with Will or nothing. Like, it was always pure love. But he came to my house one time and he was on my laptop and he saw a picture of me on vacation, coming out the water in the beach. And he set that picture as my background and was like dying laughing at me because of the rolls and how the water made my skin look shiny and everything. I basically look like a Whopper. And I don't mean a Whopper, the cheeseburger. I'm talking about the chocolate candy Whoppers. That's what it looked like. That's what he started to call me, Whopper. So, my entire life I've struggled with my weight. I've struggled with my identity that's tied to my weight, and I would never want to take off my shirt. I didn't like going to pools. Even though I love being in the water, I was the kid who was going to the pool and keeping his shirt on, keeping his tank top on, getting invited to places, not wanting to expose, the things I was insecure about. So I fast forward now, I'm 29, about to be 30 years old, in the best shape of my life. I have 4 out of my 6 abs showing. I'm about to get a full 6 out of 6. And I still suffer and deal with mental battles of me being big. I still suffer from those times where I think like, damn, you was really that big kid that, even though you were good at your sport or whatever the case may be, you were above average athlete, you were still above average weight too, my boy. And, I could say all of that now because I'm just in a better place. I'm healed. I feel better about myself. But it took a lot for me to get there. And it's still a lot for me to get over those mental battles. And the biggest one that I face really is there are times where I eat, and when I'm done eating and I feel full, I'll be in the mirror looking at my stomach like, damn, my stomach is poking out. Like, shit, I think I'm gaining weight. When in all reality, of course, my stomach's gonna poke out a little bit. I just put food in my system. What do I expect? It's to just eat it and just go straight down? Like, it's not realistic, but these are mental battles that you still face even when you lose weight. That's why I said, shedding the weight and getting rid of the physical, yeah, that's the cool, easy part because you see it every day. But that mental chain that still wraps around your head and you seeing yourself as that person, like still to this day, it's hard to break that mold. I'm slowly but surely breaking that mold, but it is still not easy. Weight and your appearance is very, very big because people judge you immediately off of looks. How you look is going to determine the level of respect people are going to give you. And this is also why it's very important to take your health serious. I now understand and now I see, why certain people didn't take me serious. Females didn't take me serious. Coaches, everyone wanted to joke with me, this, that, and the third. I mean, if you would have looked at me, my body, my weight, it showed that I had no respect for myself. It showed that I didn't care for my health or my well-being. So why should other people care about it as well? How you treat yourself and how you carry yourself tells other people how they need to treat and carry you. Now I walk into the room, I command the room. There's no way that you're going to treat me anything less than what I deserve because I know how hard I worked to get here. And I have a level of confidence now that, my body just shows and exudes the confidence that I feel. That's the great thing about losing weight. But there are times where I still battle with those mental chains that are still hold tight grips on me to where I feel like, damn, I'm gaining weight. I'm this, I'm that. Like, I'm human too. Just because I look the way I do doesn't mean that I don't feel the way other people feel. The same way sometimes a 300-pound guy who actually looks 300 pounds I sometimes still feel the way he does. There was a long period of time where I was afraid to eat carbs. When I went on my weight loss, really went on my weight loss journey, I stumbled upon something called the carnivore diet, right? Which is basically you cut out all sugars, all refined sugars, and you don't eat carbs. It's basically keto, but on steroids. So you only eat meat, eggs, and seafood, nothing else. For me, I didn't want to go that extreme. So what I did was that I did a carnivore hybrid. That's what I at least like to call it. Everyone is different. So I would eat eggs, meat, seafood, and fruits and vegetables. And that was my diet for a very long time. And I remember vividly still to this day, and it's now that I'm starting to reintroduce carbs into my system. And it's because now I understand how to introduce them, that, timing is everything. When you eat your carbs, what carbs you're eating, not eating enriched carbs, all of that stuff. I was afraid to eat carbs for a very long time because, society and everyone always says, carbs are evil, when in reality they're not. They just need to be properly used. But for a long time, I was afraid to eat a carb because I had made so much progress. For the first time in my life, I made so much progress that I could actually see, progress that I actually felt, progress that people noticed. I got so scared to eat a carb for so long that I felt like if I would have to eat rice, bread, pasta, I was going to gain weight. That all the work that I did was going to be deleted. Like, I had that all or nothing mentality. That's what that's called. An all or nothing mentality is when you think, if you miss one workout, if you miss one meal, you have one cheat meal, that it's going to erase all of the work that you've done up to this point. That's not the case. But that was something that I battled with for a long time, and I still softly battle with that, and I'm getting better with it over time because I'm arming myself with more knowledge. I'm becoming more knowledgeable about nutrition. Thank goodness I'm starting to become certified as a nutritionist and as a certified personal trainer and everything like that. But it's now that I'm starting to understand it. So for all those people out there who are watching this, who are going to see this, I still battle mental battles that you face, and when I say you, I mean people who are trying to lose weight right now, who aren't proud of their self-image. I've been there before. I know what it feels like to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and just your face is blown up. You're just miserable. I know what it feels like to not be able to get out of bed, but having to roll out of bed. Needing momentum, shimmying left and right to try and get up. I know what it feels like. When you go to put on socks, you have to sit a certain way so that your stomach doesn't get in the way when you put on your socks. Like, I know what that feels like. I remember I remember those moments. I remember the feeling more than anything of your stomach just getting in the way of everything. When you're driving, sometimes your seatbelt hitting, not your seatbelt, the steering wheel hitting you in your stomach, or feeling like your stomach is about to hit the steering wheel, bro. Like, I remember all those feelings. Bro, I've even been pulled off of a roller coaster because of my weight. I'll never forget this. 2022, 2023, I think. One of those two. I think it was more 2022. I went to Six Flags with my girlfriend, my boy at the time, Dan, and his girlfriend. And it's not to say that that's not my boy Dan or anything. We just haven't spoken in a while. We went to Six Flags, and I went to get on El Toro. Bro, I got kicked off that ride. Like, they told me I was too big. Like, my legs was too big. My stomach was... That was the first time in my life I ever got kicked off a ride. Mind you, I love roller coasters. Like, if anyone knows anything about me, I am a daredevil. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I love roller coasters. I've been skydiving before. All of that. I just won't go bungee jumping because Fresh Prince of Bel-Air destroyed that for me. Like, Hillary, I love you. Trevor! Yeah, nah, I'm not doing that shit. But I'm an adrenaline person, so to get kicked off of a roller coaster, that shit hurt me. My older brother used to weigh 500 pounds, and I watched him get kicked off of a roller coaster, and I was just like, damn. And he tried to act like it was nothing, but I know it bothered him. When it happened to me, I brushed it off like, oh, no, don't even worry about it, this, that, and the third. Bro, that shit rocked me to the core, bro. Like, that shit really, like, messed with my head. So I know what it feels like, and I know those feelings, and that's why sometimes it's still so hard for me to break those mental chains. But when you arm yourself with the knowledge, when you start to trust yourself, build rapport and everything like that, things change. They take time. But I just wanted to share with you guys, some mental struggles that I still face on a day-to-day basis, even 120 pounds lighter. 175 pounds weighed in, you know, looking as lean and mean and cut up and vascular as I do, you know, I still fight mental battles. I still deal with feelings just like anybody else. Just because I look good doesn't mean I always feel good. It's just the truth of the matter. But, you know, let me know in the comment section if you felt this, or if you resonate with this, or, you know, what are some things that you deal with, or some mental struggles and battles that you face on a day-to-day basis that you feel like debilitate you from losing weight, or it makes you feel like you can never lose weight. Because I was there at one point. I used to think my body was broken. I used to feel like, you know, no diet would work. I tried multiple times. I started over so many different times. I've tried every different diet: vegetarian, vegan, paleo. I tried keto at one point, you know, pescatarian. I did it all. And one thing that I did learn, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this: weight loss journey, just like anything in this life, is just like life. Everything is unique to each person. No two people are the same. No two struggles are the same. Something might rhyme, but they're not repeated. You know, we might have the same struggles, but how we think about them might be different. How we attack them might be different. How our body is affected by it might be different. So don't think that there's a one-size-all cookie cutter way to lose weight. There are many different ways to lose weight. You just have to find what works for you. But I just wanted to be, you know, transparent and honest with you guys, and a little bit vulnerable with you guys, to let you know, you're not alone. And even when you finally do lose the weight, you're still gonna battle sometimes. I just interviewed a very good friend of mine, and he even said it. You know, he was big his whole life, and it's now that if he doesn't run, or if he doesn't eat a certain way, he feels heavy, he feels fat, he feels like disgusted with himself. It's all facts. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Put your health first. And remember, this weight loss thing, it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes you taking a chance on yourself, you know. Trusting yourself again is not easy, especially when you the one that put yourself in this position, you know. But the same way that you put yourself in this position, you damn sure could take yourself out of it. And I know you can, because I did it. And if I could do it, I know you could do it, because there's nothing that makes me and you different. The only thing that might be different: name, color of the skin, hair, blood, ethnicity, height, weight, whatever. But when you come down to the realness of it, I have a skeleton, I have muscles, I have a brain, I have a heart, I have feelings, just like you. So if I can do it, so can you. And if you need help, reach out to me. It's what I do for a living. Because since I lived that nightmare, I want to be able to also provide people with the dream. See ya.